Kheir's YouTube channel. My name is James Ahn and I'm the Director of Patient Resources and Outreach here at Kheir Clinic. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining how you can renew your Medi-Cal. There are several ways to renew your Medi-Cal: by telephone, in person, via the internet, or via your paper application being sent through the mail. Today we're going to cover the mail application, or the paper application, because most, if not all of you, will be getting a packet if you haven't already done so by the end of the year. And since we're only 1 month out before the end of the year, we're going to explain how you can do it via the paper application. So here we go. Okay, this is what your Medi-Cal renewal form is going to look like. The form is called MC-216. This is the English version. Many of you might get something in a different language depending on the language preference you selected when you first applied for Medi-Cal. A lot of this information is going to be pre-populated, meaning that it's going to have your information already according to what you reported last year. Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, the Medi-Cal renewal form is asking you, has anything changed since last year? And if it has, please update your information. It's going to ask about income, about your household information. Has anybody moved in or moved out of your house? Has your income increased, decreased? Has your expenses increased, decreased? Has your assets changed? So on and so forth. So we'll go section by section, page by page, and I'll try to explain exactly what they're looking for. Okay. The first page is going to be pre-populated with your the date of this notice, your case number, which is very important, your name, your social worker's name, and then your social worker's telephone number. And then on this middle section here, it's going to have your name and your date of birth. And then right here, it's going to say the deadline, when we need you to submit this renewal by. So this date is going to be very, very important for you. Okay. All right, the first page that you have to start filling out is going to be your contact information page. Please review all your information on the left side. The reason why your contact information is important is because if any time DPSS reaches out to you with any requests or any new information, you're normally going to have to respond to that request. So in order for them to get in contact with you successfully, your contact information needs to be current. So they're going to ask you, they're going to state your name, your home address, your mailing address, your phone number, your email, and what language you prefer to be written to or spoken to in. So it's going to be pre-populated. Go ahead and review that. And if it's correct, you're going to check this information is correct and then move on to page 3. If it is not correct, you're going to click on the right side and you're going to put your new information or the information that has changed. This is kind of the methodology for this entire document. They're going to show you what you wrote or reported last year, and you're either going to say, okay, nothing's changed, or you're going to say, no, this has changed. You're going to click on this button and then provide the new information. So we'll move on to the next page. Okay, the first section here is household members. We need to include everybody in your household, whether they receive Medi-Cal or not. Okay. Let's see. So this should also be pre-populated, meaning that if you don't live by yourself and there's somebody else that lives in your home, all their information is going to be here if you reported that that was the case last year. It's going to state your name, their name, their relationship to you, their address, and it's going to go down each row, and if there's multiple people, it'll list everybody, and you're going to confirm whether they still live there or not. If not, you're going to click no on the corresponding name, and then you're going to update it here on the next page, okay, which is what you're seeing here. Okay. Now, tax information. This page is asking who is the primary taxpayer listed on your tax return. Okay. Now, this is also going to be pre-populated, and it's going to ask you, does this person plan to file a federal tax return? Now, not everybody is required to file a federal tax return. If, for example, Social Security SSI or SSA, meaning Social Security Retirement Benefits, is your only source of income, you are not required to file a tax return. So in this case, you would put no, right? But this will be pre-populated, so review what's already on there and let them know this information is the same, or it's going to be changing this year, and so you're going to indicate no and then move on to the next section. Okay. Which is right here. It says update or add new tax information. Has your primary tax filer changed? This is the first person listed on your tax return. Yes or no? Okay, and then you're going to go down and you're going to input their information. Does this person plan to file a federal tax return? Yes or no? Does this person expect to be required to file a tax return? Yes or no? And then what is their status? Are they married? Are they single? Are they married but filing separately? Are they a dependent? And then if they are, who is the primary tax filer who claims them as a dependent? Okay. All right, next one is important because Medi-Cal is an income tested program, meaning that you will be found eligible or ineligible based on your income. So this is another section that's going to be pre-populated based on what you reported last year. And so Medi-Cal, or the agency that implements Medi-Cal, is asking you, is this the correct information? Because this is what you reported last year, right? So you're gonna go row by row, depending on how many sources of income you have. And let's say, let's just say that it says James, and then, he's an Uber driver and he makes $10,000, let's say a year annually, okay? Is this right? Okay, if it is, you're gonna click yes, right? If it's not, because your income increased or decreased, you're gonna put no, and then you're gonna put the date, and then you're gonna move on to the next page. And now this is where you input the change, okay? So, it's gonna either be the same or, it's either gonna be the same and you won't have to report this, or it's gonna change and I'm going to say, last year I was making 10,000, this year I'm expected only to make 8,000, okay? And that's starting November, let's just say 1st of 2025. Okay, and how often do you receive this income? 8,000 annually. Okay, is this income expected to continue? It's going to continue. Or no, it's not. And then, what is the last day you expect to get this income? Okay, or let's give it another example. Let's say it's, I'm working for a Kheir clinic. Okay, so my name is James. Middle name, last, okay? W2 employment. And my company name is, I can't write that much. Let's just Kheir Clinic. Okay, your income before taxes. So this is a gross income. Let's say I make $2,000 every 2 weeks, okay? And I started this job on November 1st, 2025, okay? How often? Okay, every 2 weeks. Okay, and then I would put yes, and then I would move on. You guys see how I'm doing that? Okay, now does anyone's income change from month to month? This is going to be on a case-by-case situation depending on your personal situation. So you're either going to indicate yes or no. If it is yes, tell us what the total income will be for the next 12 months. So it'll have to be somewhat of an estimate. Remember, they're using this income information to determine whether you're eligible for Medi-Cal or not. So although you can't predict exactly how much you'll make, if it's a fluctuating income, try to give a good guesstimate on what it's going to be within the next year. Okay. All right, the next page is talking about expenses and deductions. Reporting tax expenses and deductions that you pay may lower the income Medi-Cal uses to determine your eligibility. You must attach current proof of expense and deductions, for example, profit and loss statement or tax return. So if you report your, let's say you have a W-2 wage, right? You work for a company and you pay into Social Security, you pay into state disability insurance, FICA, all these things. This is where, because you reported up here on the income that you earn $10,000 in self-employment income driving Uber, but all that revenue is not profit. So you would now write your expenses in here. Okay. So yeah. So I drove Uber. Right. I drove for Uber, but I have like a gas expense. I have my car payment. I have my cell phone that I use for driving Uber. I have insurance. Okay. So let's say, insurance, car payment, such and such, okay, etc. and let's say that's $3,000, or let's say $3,000 annually. Because I reported 10,000 earlier and I'm reporting 3,000 in expenses, my income tested Medi-Cal is only going to be calculated using my net income, right? So if you don't know this information off the top of your head, you should be able to get it off your tax return. If you're an independent contractor or you're a sole proprietor, all this information is going to be on your Schedule C, which is part of your income tax return. If you're a W-2 owner, or if you're a W-2 recipient, meaning that you are paid an hourly wage or a salary, and the employer deducts your taxes before they give you the paycheck, that information should be available on your tax form 1040. Okay. And then the expense and deductions page is also going to be pre-populated based on what you reported last year. If this information here is correct, you're going to click yes. If not, you're going to put no, and then you're going to update it on this page here. Okay. This will most likely not be pre-populated. So if you are simultaneously receiving Medicare while receiving Medi-Cal, they want to know your information here. Okay. And they're looking for your monthly premium. So whatever you're paying out of pocket for your monthly Medicare premium, you're going to indicate here. Part A, B, C, and D. Yes or no. And then if you need to update, you're going to move on to the next one and then update the new information. Long-term care. This section will either be available or not available based on if you've reported in the past that you are in long-term care. You might not even see this section. But if you did report previously that you were in long-term care, this section will be pre-populated and you will have to either confirm or edit the information that's contained in here. Other health insurance, besides Medicare and Medi-Cal, is there any other dual coverage that you have from employer-sponsored insurance, any other private insurance that you might have? If you do, you're going to review it here, and then you're going to update it here if it needs changes. Okay, household changes. They're asking you, does anyone in your household who is not on Medi-Cal want to apply? If so, fill in the bottom, their first, middle, last name, their date of birth, and their social security number. Is anybody pregnant? If yes, please fill this section out. Is anybody in your household former foster youth and they're between the ages of 18 and 26, you would include their information here. Has anyone in your household who now is Medi-Cal had a change in their immigration or citizenship status in the past 12 months? They're normally asking for people who are previously undocumented who gained either a green card or some other sort of legal status. You would include your information there. And then lastly, does anyone in your household have a physical, mental, emotional, or developmental disability? If yes, please fill in below. And that is not the last. There's a few more. Is anybody a student, 19 or 20 years old and a full-time student? Yes or no? Does anyone in your household have Medicare? It's another question about Medicare. If so, please indicate their name, their Medicare number, and then the monthly premium that they pay. Another question about long-term care. Is anyone in your household in long-term care? If yes, fill in the below. This next section is about people that have been incarcerated or put in jail, or they've passed away. So this section will be populated based on the county's information about certain members of your household. If they detect that somebody's been imprisoned or has passed, this section will be populated and you will have to fill it out. This next section, health program information and referrals, is just kind of an added page about extra resources that the state has. Do you want information on no-cost health program for children under 21, which is commonly known as CHDPP, Child Health and Disability Prevention Program? Do you want additional information on it? CHDP is a program where children under the age of 21 can get emergency service with Medi-Cal. Because Medi-Cal takes some time to process, if somebody needs immediate care, they can apply for a CHDP and get service that is a little bit quicker. If you want additional information on that, click either yes or no. Next one is about WIC, Women, Infant, and Children Program. It's a food service program for pregnant people or people that are breastfeeding. Okay. Is any household member living in the home receiving kidney dialysis related services? If so, indicate yes or no. Has any household member living in the home received an organ transplant? If your loved one or you received a organ transplant such as kidney or liver transplant in the last 2 years, please indicate yes or no. Question number 5 is regarding in-home supportive services. Are you interested in receiving or providing IHSS? You would indicate yes, and they would send you some more information about that. Number 6, does anyone in your household need help with long-term care or home and community-based services? If so, and you indicate yes, they will send you more information about those services. That's it. The last page is a declaration and signature page, basically saying that to the best of my knowledge, all the information that I stated above is true. And then you're going to sign, you're going to date it, and that's it. And then the last sentence is, remember to attach all current proof if required and all additional copies or extra pages. Now, your packet may contain information, specific information about what types of documents they want you to include. However, if they don't, I would send documents anyway. Okay. The first thing I would send is a copy of an ID, either a California identification card issued to you by the state or whatever state ID that you have. I would also send, if you have income, I would also send copies of income proof, paycheck stubs, tax returns. If you receive Social Security, I would either send a benefits eligibility statement from the Social Security Administration or any other type of document that shows proof of how much you make either on a monthly or an annual basis. They want, if you reported that you had certain expenses, utility expenses, I would go as far as sending a utility bill. Anything that you can prove or send to prove any type of incoming income or outgoing expense, I would send it. Once you send it and the Department of Social Services or the state reviews your information, if they deem that it's not enough information and they require other documentation, they will send you a letter through the mail, which will be called a request for information, where they'll ask you for specific things. You indicated that you make this much money, please send proof of that. Okay. And then you can respond to those requests accordingly. Okay. That's it. That's how you fill it out. As I mentioned earlier, everybody's going to have a deadline on the renewal packet. If for some reason you miss your renewal date, there is a 3-month or 90-day grace period in which you can send these documents and not be completely disenrolled from Medi-Cal. However, if you don't complete these steps by the 91st day, you will be discontinued. And in certain cases, for certain residents of California who receive Medi-Cal, you will no longer be able to apply for full scope Medi-Cal starting next year. And that's why it's more important than ever to stay on top of your communication with the state and with your county to make sure that you're completing these tasks on time. Right? The other option, instead of mailing your renewal packet, using the postal service, is to fill out your packet, gather all your proof documents, and then upload it onto a website called benefitscal.com. Okay, just go to benefitscal.com. If you have an account already, you can you can press the button that says upload documents, and then it'll kind of teach you step by step how to do that. If you don't have an account, you can create one, and on your renewal packet, the case number that you have, you can actually link that with Benefits Cal, so that when you upload, the system recognizes your account and it just kind of attaches your renewal packet to your corresponding case number, and so that when DPSS or the state agency receives it, they know exactly whose it is. Okay. Please complete your renewals on time if possible. If you have not received your renewal packet, most of you should have already, since we're only a month out of the end of the year. if you did not receive it, please go to your local Department of Public Social Services agency, wherever you live in California, and let them know that you did not receive it and that you would like to either receive a copy or somehow gain access to your renewal so that you can submit that before the end of the year. It is very, very important that you do. So once again, if you did not receive your renewal packet, please go to your local Department of Public Social Services agency and let them know, so that number one, you can renew your renewal, and second, to update your information, because something you might have moved and not reported it to the agency, and so they have the wrong mailing address, wrong email, wrong phone number. You want to make sure that you're constantly updating that and keeping it current with the agency. All right. Thank you so much. That's it for today's video. If you have any questions, please make sure you put them in the comment section. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to our channel. We're going to continue to bring you useful information to make your life just a little bit easier. All right. Thanks for visiting, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.